Hey guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In Exodus chapter 20, we come across the 10 Commandments, or what is oftentimes called the Decalogue. And it's interesting the order in which these commandments come, particularly how they begin. There the Lord says, starting in verse 3, he says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God." And so the first thing that they heard him speak in connection to these commandments was, you need to serve me and serve me only. I am your God. And he said previously in verse 2 that he was the one that brought them out of the house of slavery, and he was their God. And so they were to give him absolute and complete allegiance and to serve him and only serve him and not to have any other gods. And if you think about it, before we get to any other commandments that God might give in his word, that's the first thing we have to wrestle with. Is God going to be our God? Are we going to recognize him as our only God? And are we going to serve him with singleness of heart? Or are we going to be double-minded and sometimes serve the Lord, sometimes be on, sometimes be off? Or are we going to give him our whole heart and offer our bodies as a living sacrifice to him, recognizing that he deserves our all and that we desire nothing else besides him? If we don't start with that, then everything else will unravel. Our allegiance to him, our faithfulness to him, our obedience to him will be spotty. It'll be off and on. Sometimes we'll do what he tells us, sometimes we won't. And it'll be a very difficult go of trying to serve the Lord, but at the same time having other quote unquote gods that we serve, other things that compete with his kingship in our lives. And we're not going to be able to be consistent in our obedience to him. And so when it comes to wanting to live a life before the Lord and wanting to keep his commandments, it starts with this very thing. Have no other gods before him, to serve him and only serve him, and recognize that he is your God. And he is the one who can bring freedom and deliverance from slavery. And so we ought to remember this and spend each day, begin every day, first centering ourselves on God, recognizing his high position, recognizing his authority, recognizing the fact that he is the only one that ultimately has us and possesses us and created us, and he is the one who should have our whole heart. And if we can begin our days putting God first and then maintaining that throughout the day, it'll become a lot more easier for us then to keep his commandments. And hopefully, as we do our reading today, we'll be motivated to do that, to put the first commandment first on our list. And we could throw in Deuteronomy chapter 6, to love the Lord our God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, that leaving no room for anything else, but having total and absolute allegiance and devotion to him. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.